Today's video is for 8th grade History Chapter 1. How, when and where. The first slide is for introduction. This chapter tells your history how, when and where. These are the three pillars of history. We have already studied ancient medieval history in our previous classes. Now in this class 8, you are going to study modern Indian history. That is, we actually don't call it as modern history. It's a colonial period or British in India. What are we going to study in this chapter? Dates to events. Which date to be considered important in history. Method of periodization by James Mill. What is colonial? Sources of history and issues related to it. Dates and event in the sense whether dates are important or events are important. Let's see the chapter. How important are dates? There was time when historians were fascinated with dates. History was synonymous with date, but history is certainly about changes that occur over time. That is, the historians were fascinated with dates. Dates were always important, but still there was always a debate between the historians whether the dates are important or the events. We connect things before and after. Many a times we have moments of wonder. That is, we ask historical questions to ourselves like, when did people begin to drink tea or coffee? When was railways built? When were railways built? How did people travel before invention of railways? How people got to know about things before newspaper began to be printed. That is, there is no particular date for a person to start drinking tea. It has you can say a course of time which went on, and people developed the taste and they started drinking tea and they started enjoying tea. It is the same way. We know who invented railway, but we don't know when it really started. How did people travel before invention of railway? We sit and think what sort of communication, how they communicated, how they traveled before railway was being invented. So even newspapers, as we know, early days, either the pigeons were sent or a person used to run around and go to one place to another to give the message. So like this, either dates are important or no, there was always a debate, but it is before and after what we try to understand. Before the date and after the date, what is important, we try to understand. Time does not have to be always precisely dated in terms of particular year or month. As we already discussed, that is, time does not have to be precisely dated. So it does not have to be exactly dated. People did not start drinking tea one fine day or a particular date or month. They developed the taste for it over a period of time. Similarly, we cannot fix a single or particular date on which British rule was established or the national movement started. That is, we don't have a particular date on which day they started ruling. So all these things happened over a stretch of time, like tea, railway, newspaper are the example which happened over a stretch of time. There were time when history was an account of battle, a big event, rulers and policies. The year he married, the year he had child, the year he fought a particular war, the year he died, and the year the next ruler succeeded to the throne. So earlier these were the important dates. That is when when I was a student, I studied regarding dates. We felt that dates are only important, but actually it is not so. Nowadays, historians say that events are also important, but now it is the events about livelihood that they produce, what they ate, how cities developed and markets came up, and which revolve around the and these which revolve around the dates are important. So which date are important? If we believe dates are important, then question arises, which dates are important? Dates play an important role. Dates depend on events. Importance of dates depend on the perspective of the person who writes history. Dates become vital or important because we focus on a set of events as important. If the focus changes, the dates, issues, events become significant. That is, for you, your birth date is very important. For me, my birth date is very important. For you, your family is important. Your family history is important. For me, my family history is important. So, if we see each other's perspective, it depends, history depends on each other's perspective. One person's perspective, the person who is writing the history, it depends on it. Example, in a British history written by them, the rule of each governor general was important. For them, as British wrote the history of India, for them the rule of each governor general was important. According to British historians who wrote Indian history, rule of Governor General was important. That is, Warren Hastings was the first Governor General and Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy. From Warren Hastings to Lord Mountbatten, every governor was important according to the British historian. This is the most important part that you have to remember, because this can be 1 mark questions. Warren Hastings, the first governor, Lord Mountbatten, last viceroy. Their classification will revolve around the British Governor General. Indians and their activities will not have any role in it. But when we will write the history from Indian perspective, a new set of dates will become more important for us to know. Right? How do we periodize? So, by the last slide, we discussed that is, dates are important along with the events, and that history depends on person's perspective. Now, there was a person called James Mill about whom we are going to read. So, how do we periodize? Periodization means grouping or classification. In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, published a 3-volume book, A History of British India. In this, he divided Indian history into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim, British. At that time, this periodization was widely accepted by everyone. James Mill's idea of history, that is British rule, helped Indians to progress and civilize. According to James Mill idea, history helped Indians to progress and civilize. But there was a problem in the periodization that James Mill offered, that is, he wrote in his perspective and not by the viewpoint of Indians. According to him, all Asians were at lower level of civilization. Indians were religious intolerance. That is, they did not tolerate other religion. They had caste taboos. Caste taboos are caste classification, hierarchy. So, and superstitious practices dominated social life. Though it was true, but he also said that when Britishers came to India, he civilized them. We were not uncivilized. That was the point which Indian historians couldn't accept it. So, Our Indian historians classified history into ancient, medieval and modern. What is colonial? The next question that is in your textbook is what is colonial? As we could not accept the British rule as modern period, because in the British rule there was no concept of equality, freedom and liberty. So modern period means we can connect to freedom struggle, Gandhi ji, Nehru, all this. So that time we knew what is equality, what is freedom, what is liberty. But during British rule we didn't knew these words, equality, freedom and liberty. Therefore many historians refer this period as colonial. What is colonial? British came to India, conquered local Nawabs and Rajas, established their rulers, started subjugating locals, established control over economy and society. They brought cultural changes in culture, values, taste, customs and practices. So this is colonization. When one country comes and occupies the other country and changes the whole scenario, that is the whole culture, value, taste, custom, practice, that is colonial rule, colonization. Therefore, we can say that they colonized India. We changed our lifestyle. Indian changed their lifestyle. Education, modern education was being adopted. Gurukul was left out and many practices were left out. So modern clothes were adopted, dhotis were left out, so saris were left out, modern you can say textiles were taken up, how the dressing style was taken up. So that is colonization. And even the economy changed, the society changed. So what is exactly colonization? Definition we can give as subjugation of one country by another, leading to the political, economical, social, cultural changes. This process is called colonization. Sources of history. The next part in your textbook is sources of history. From where do we get the sources of history? Administration. The first source will be administration produces records. So whatever the British administered, they wrote it down. They had written it down. So from there we could get this records. So that becomes one of the sources of history. Sources of written history are the official records of British administration. Every instructions, plans, policies, decisions, agreements, investigations had to be clearly written up. All important documents and letters were carefully preserved in record room, archives and museums. Letters and memos, all these things were kept, were stored, were you can say they were safely documented. These documents were carefully copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists. So whenever there was plan, instructions, one more copy used to be written down by a calligraphist, and later on it would be preserved as a source of history. And another source of history would be surveys. Surveys became important. Another important source of writing history was survey. Survey means examining and recording of a particular area, subject, etc. The British believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. So, revenue survey was conducted. Efforts were being made to note the topography, the soil quality, the flora, fauna, the local histories, and cropping pattern. They needed all these information to rule India. So, they kept it, they preserved it, and that became source of history. And even there was census operation were held every 10 years. So this is done even now. Now the next census will be in 2021. That is, they'll count the people, how many they are. Noting information on castes, religions and occupations were done. Other surveys like botanical surveys, zoological survey, archaeological survey, anthropological survey and forest surveys were done. Here botanical is plant study, zoological animal study, archaeological you can say history, and then anthropological human survey, human study survey, then forest survey was done. Then what official records did not tell us? What did official record left out? So administrative records, surveys, official records tell us what the officials thought, what they were interested, what they wish to preserve for posterity. Posterity means future generation. So here they everything was according to their perspective. These records missed out or did not tell us about diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims and travelers, autobiographies of important personalities, etc. Ideas of leaders was missed out, ideas of reformers were missed out, poets' idea, novelist works were being missed out in the what called as sources of history. It also lacked the perspective of peasants, workers and tribals. Nobody asked peasants' opinion, nobody asked workers' stories, nobody asked tribals' life, as getting to know their life was more difficult task. So these things were missing in even the British history. These things were missing in British history, and the last point was missing in even Indian history. So next video will be on second chapter of history. Hope you all enjoyed the video. You all clearly understood the concept. You can use it as a notes also. Please like, share and subscribe.